Hop on in, sailors. The water's warm. Excuse me. I will be, everything I watch going forward, I will be re-uploading. Now, this is a creator I just found, Denims Daily. She seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, good for her. Anyone going after DrDisRespect, is good in my book. Because fuck that guy. Oh, he just accidentally sexted a minor. Like, fuck you, dude.
Fugue. All right. Next, chat. Next. I wanted to share this with you guys. I'm not sure how many of you saw it, but DrDisRespect, he's still going. He's still going. Although things have been settled, Twitch should do the right thing and correct their mistakes of permanently banning the doc by reinstating the channel. We should have never been banned in the first place.
He shouldn't be allowed on
Twitch
YouTube.
should have never allowed a low-level employee to override the entire ban system, which had already been determined we didn't do anything wrong because of biased opinions of the doc character. They could have reached out and had a quick 5-minute call and realized these mutual jokes and bantering never had any serious intentions. Pathetic. Why does it read like a Trump post on Truth Social? Guys, I'm embarrassed to admit something to all of you. I got some DrDisRespect merch. I was at a thrift store and I found some and I
Canceled.
had to get it. So give me one.
Just canceled.
Is this what my sub money is going toward?
I got something just to show that I'm a huge doc fan. All right. What do you guys think? Hello, second grade. And I even got something to finish the look. Wait. As a true Doc fan, careful, Doc might jump on you. I'm too old for him. Come on, be real. I think you're innocent, man. They were wrong to ban you just because you wanted to talk to some underage girls. I mean, women. Okay? I don't care that you're a pedophile. I don't care that everybody makes fun of you for being a pedophile, man. I don't care. I'm getting so much shungite after this, man. I'm getting so much, all right? So you sent a couple inappropriate messages. Who hasn't? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? History will absolve you, brother. Amen. What are the fans called? What are they called again? Champs. Champs. The Champions Club, yes. We are all.
So that's... Pat, I don't know if you're still watching, but if I'm not mistaken, doesn't champ mean isn't that calling someone a cocksucker in Australia? I'll let you clarify that if you're still watching now or tomorrow or whatever. Champs. Of course it would be the diddlers fanboys.
Champions Club members here. Yes. This is the best a man can get right here. All right? This is the best.
She's risking a lot doing that on stream, damn.
Anyways, remember when that guy came out on Twitter and was like, so I inappropriately messaged a minor? Yes.
It was just a couple of
I'm
minors.
gonna own up to it like a real man. And then he edited it to say not a minor. And then he edited it again to say a minor because he saw all the people making fun of him for editing it. And then it was so bad that even his homie, Nick Merckx, was like, oh, sorry. It was more like just forehead cam. So like this, like, anyways, penis, dude. Vagina. Find it.
I'm all forehead, baby.
Find it. No, stop. I Googled it and it's pulling up a bunch of penis diagrams. No, stop. No, YouTube. No. So anyways, dude, let it go, man. Okay? Just let it go. Let it go. But this is, okay, call back. This is why I don't understand the pirate software thing. Do you know how lucky you are to be pirate software and the thing that gets you pseudo canceled is people making fun of you for being bad at a game? And typing manage him. Do you know how dope that is? Do you know how dope it is that the crimes against you are that weak? Oh my God, you should be happy. You should be excited, enthralled, filled with joy, dude. This guy gets called a pedophile. And just people were just typing manage him at you, man. Come on. Oh my God, dude. People need to realize when they're given gifts, man. They need to realize that. Oh my God. Fuck. And then he agreed with some of Asmon's statements? No? Well, he didn't. Pirate Software didn't agree with Asmon's statements. He was just like, I just want to play video games with Asmon Gold. Sorry, I'm using his real voice. Okay, that was mean. That was mean. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm such a bitch, dude. I just see a good opportunity and I take it, okay? Oh, God. Oh fuck. Anyways, Dr. Disrespect, just stop, man. Just stop. Do you really think Twitch is gonna try and unban you after they've had to deal with the last
I still can't believe he has fans. Oh, they're also very heavily in Asmon's shit. Like, again, for whoever's watching this right now, I don't know if there's anyone here at the moment, but like, I'm permanently banned from the Asmongold subreddit because those people are monsters, and I was going at them like they say and believe and do things that are just beyond heinous, and they expect to just get like a free pass for it. Again, they're truly animals, and a lot of them were defending Dr. Disrespect. They're like, where's the evidence? Like, this guy's just outing him for clout, and it's like, you guys are insane. Like, you're not even like willing to like broach the fact that he was sexting minors. You just think it's a big conspiracy, and it's like they're just trying to take the 2-time down, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're if you're not a grown ass person, you're a child, and you shouldn't be talking if that's the case. But if you're a grown ass person, like, you cannot be defending like a guy that had yet to be Jared from Subway but wanted to be Jared from Subway. Like, what are you doing? Like, God.
year of being called anti-Semitic and have like fucking Twitch replaced with the SS symbols? Do you really think that Twitch wants to deal with that? Do you really think that? Be for real, man. Be fucking for real, man. Come on. Come on. He just, again, this is another ego problem, right? He thought in his infinite wisdom, he's like, well, I'm just gonna own up to it like a real man, and people will respect me because I owned up to it. And then he saw that that was not the right strategy because he didn't contact anyone else before he made his stupid fucking decision. Oh,
I just realized I did a strategic placement of my face over Denim's chest.
His wife for advice.
So if you're in here, you must really want to watch my stream.
Nick Merckx doesn't
Thank
strike
you.
me as like too much ego. Nick Merckx strikes me as just like dumb as a rock. Like, he gives me
He's
like
very
Ethan
dumb.
Klein vibes, like Ethan Ela Klein vibes. Like, it's just that his wife is also like, dude, I can't get over that clip where he's like, unlike you liberals, I don't live in an echo chamber. I talk to my family who all believe the same thing as me. Sorry, let me watch this clip again. It's just too good. It's too good.
Oh.
As trans people.
Hey, J-Jeb. Glad to see you, buddy.
Have fun with your little
Yeah, dude, Asmon...
Funny that I can make fun of his camera by doing this.
Yeah, no, dude, Asmon's community, they're worse than the Joe Rogan community. Like, I got recently permanently banned from the Joe Rogan subreddit too, but that was like a vindictive mod. But like, the Joe Rogan community is like tearing itself apart. Like, with the old heads that think like Joe is like still the greatest or somehow salvageable, and then all the other ones that are like, no, like, he's just mainstream media now and he's crazy. The Asmongold subreddit, those people are monsters. They are heinous. I like, again, like 50-50 on the Joe subreddit. On the Asmon subreddit, it's like 1 out of 100 people are like normal, and that just tells me like, okay, whatever's wrong with you isn't present on the internet. No, like, Asmon's subreddit is foul. I've never seen anything that disgusting. And like, when they sent me the ban, I messaged back the mod. I was like, I'm glad you guys banned me, because I'm going to be telling everyone like what is going on here. Like, this subreddit should be shut down. You know something? I found one recently, and it was a friend of mine, and he was like, you know, I watch him, but I watch him like ironically, and I'm like, no, you cannot watch Asmon stuff ironically. Not anymore. Maybe like 5 years ago you could get away with that. But like now it's like, no, he's always been mentally ill. He's always needed therapy. He's always needed medication. And lately he's just doing like the shit that like he's doing an even more heinous version of the shit that Ethan Klein is doing by baiting politics and like baiting racism and shit. Like, it's disturbing. And it's like, you can't be like he was a gaming YouTuber with like some drama bits, and now he's like a weird drama. Hassan said it best. He's the biggest political streamer on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. Like, the biggest one. He's bigger than Hassan. So anytime he talks about politics, he's the biggest political pundit on that platform. And his takes are often beyond shallow, missing information, pedantic, ignorant, just the worst possible takes a human being can have about the situation. And he's telling it to these like these rubes, these surface level idiots that are even less intelligent than Joe Rogan's people, and they believe him, that like they eat it up. And that's why they were like we haven't seen the charges against Dr. D. And it's like these motherfuckers were saying it after DrDisRespect had admitted to like texting a minor, and it's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, fuck. Sorry, let's keep going.
Dude, and I'm totally accurate. Like, I'm not even over-exaggerating it, dude.
But that shit's not even real. Let me break it down for you, right? Penis, dude. Vagina, girl.
Vagina.
Done. Come in here with that fucking trans.
Vagina. See, this is why I love being friends with conservatives. Because, like, especially when you live in a blue state, like, it doesn't matter how many times they vote.
I've been losing a lot of conservative friends.
Vote often. Vote early, it doesn't matter because they're not going to get him elected because, I mean, for example, California's always going to go blue. So you just get to talk to these people and they're such specimens, dude. They're such specimens. They're great. They're great. Oh my God.
That is a bold statement considering Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor. There's like, anytime conservatives are like bitching about California, it's like, you understand like the highest concentration of like conservatives in any single state is California. I'm pretty sure there's more there than Texas. Granted, like I think Texas is the second, and also has a comparatively large left-leaning demographic. But yeah, it's like people talk about like, I hope it falls into the sea, and it's like, first off, monstrous thing to say. Second off, like you're cutting your nose to spite your face. That's where Devin fucking Nunes is from. That fucking psycho. Fuck.
Excuse me. I'm yawning. Wait, I have coffee. Wait, I have coffee. Dude, I'm not like a hall monitor, man. Okay, you guys need to learn something about this chat.
She's got like Dodger vibes. I haven't watched Dodger in like
me. I wasn't making
10 years.
Dude, I'm not a hall monitor. I am not your debate monitor, okay, or moderator. You gotta listen, man. We're out in the trenches here. If someone called you a slur, I haven't seen it. It should be auto flagged. Or if someone said something harmful to you, used a harmful word to you, then we can time them out or ban them. But if they just said that your argument's dumb and stupid, I'm not gonna. I don't care, man. I'm sorry. You got to be able to fend for yourself. Don't at them if you don't want to talk to them, man. Caught. Hobby, thank you for the 10 months. Snooze, Mummer, thank you for the 22 months.
I haven't watched too much of Denims stuff, but I mean, she's got pretty good takes so far.
Identity is always the most
pretty based.
Stupidity. Dude, yeah, being a white person and saying your group is made up, especially like, hey, he's Italian, leave him alone. I'm sorry, you're right. He's Italian, not white. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. My bad.
Italians are POCs. It's true.
What's really funny, I think, lately has been, I mean, as Donald Trump continues his administration and as Republicans see the results of his administration. Wait, I have to respond to the Italian claim really quickly. Wait. I must specify. Low blow, not all Italians are like him. Wait, almost all Italians are as loud as he is and vocal as he is.
She's right.
That most Italians that I've run into are also based and vocal. And then a couple of them are not based, but still vocal.
Yeah.
The thing that's making him Italian is not his terrible opinions. It's that he's proud to say them. Which, if you've met Italians, you know they're proud to say anything. Okay?
Yeah.
They will tell you the weather.
Yeah, she's right. She's got it.
It's 78 degrees outside.
Free Luigi.
Yeah. It's like, okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that, but sure. Which I respect because Arab people are also like that. They're also very opinionated about things that don't matter at all.
Far be it for me to confirm that
There's
one.
a reason that the person who killed the
Hey, 4 viewers.
CEO health
Glad to have you.
was Italian. Okay.
We're watching
They're
Denim.
loud.
Denims daily.
It's just, are they based or are they cringe? Allegedly. The guy who allegedly.
Is the volume good? Can you guys let me know how the volume is?
What's been
I do test recordings before I start streaming, but I didn't.
Like the past how many decades?
I've been wary of them.
Their position over time, their approval rating goes down. What's been funny and
let me know if the echo stops so I turn the mic off.
The number of Republicans finally like realizing that their blatant support or their complete support for Trump since he's a Republican maybe wasn't a great idea because actually Trump is going to gut all of the things that red states rely on heavily. Trump administration plans for sharp FEMA cuts fuel worries for some Republican state officials. A developing Trump administration plan for deep staff cuts and drastic changes to the Federal Emergency Management Agency is raising alarm.
Yeah, 50% of like 50% of FEMA funds go directly to red states. The rest is like Puerto Rico and maybe it was more. I know the majority go to red states, and the majority of the funding comes from blue states. Yeah, like they're just like I take no pleasure in further pain to any American, including red state, like all red state inhabitants. But on top of that, like, yeah, they'll get it first, but like Trump is also like, I'm going to target blue states and wipe them off the. Like he's literally said that. It was last press conference. He's like, I'm going to wipe the blue states off the map. Like today, he said that, and it's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like you're just attacking every aspect of American life and what it means to be American. And again, like he should be impeached. He should be impeached and gone. But like the Republican Party is nothing but treasonous traitors at this point, who have no willingness to act and don't have any like morals or scruples. They'll just sell out the American people. Good times.
Among some state officials and even Republican lawmakers who worry that it will weaken responses to future disasters. What? Staff cuts and drastic changes might make FEMA worse? What? No. I mean, we've all seen how the planes have been recently, right? So we fired a couple of plane employees who they weren't doing anything anyways. They were probably just playing games at their computer. Ignore the fact that now everyone doesn't want to get on planes anymore. Because sometimes your plane just...
I don't know if I've said it already. I bought a fly anywhere pass with Frontier Air, which is supposed to allow you like unlimited flights, like domestic and international. And I got it on the cheap, and I was like, yes. I got this like before the end of last year. I can use it starting in May. And I'm just like, why would I? like why would I use it? Like, God, what a fucking waste. A month in, destroys all confidence in the government, the FAA, like Health and Human Services, just decimates the American people. And it's like, he's got a mandate. I hate the mandate talk. The mandate talk pisses me off so much. And it's like, there was no mandate. No one said change it to the Gulf of America. Like, they just wanted you to lower egg prices and fucking like make life not miserable. Instead, you're like, no, I'm gonna sell America to billionaires and like you're gonna deal with it. Fuck me.
lands upside down. Yeah, the air traffic workers were probably not doing anything anyways. They surely weren't doing anything important, right guys? Air traffic playing new Rivals updates. Dude, did we not all watch Breaking Bad? I feel like every American watched Breaking Bad.
I think she's my new favorite, like, discovery. Because, like, she hits all, like, similar points to what I do. Yeah, like, because I reference Breaking Bad a lot. Yeah, no, same, man. Yeah, Jeb, I wish I... And it's like, well, and on top of that, like, money's about to be tight. He's about to, like, crash the dollar and ruin the market. Like, I've just been trying to, like, prep, like, be as self-sustaining as possible while he ruins the nation. It's hard to say what's going to come out of America's carcass. I just know it's not going to be pretty. Going to be our own Russia soon. That's solid. I'll tell you this, if Australia had nukes, like, I would be very tempted to move. But again, I'm here trying to make things better. So, fuck me. Was that it for the video? Okay. I think Denims done. Let's go on to... I want to watch this one. I want to see RFK Jr.'s Flunky losing his mind, just like Stephen Miller lost his shit the other day.
Right now,
These
there is a
fucking
measles
jackasses.
outbreak in West Texas that keeps getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah, the measles
and
thing. Fuck.
It's spreading into New Mexico. And in this area of Texas, there is a very low vaccination rate. This is the result of increased anti-vaccine sentiment that is at a fever pitch right now and has been since the pandemic, creating a political movement strong enough that it is now kind of incorporated into MAGA. MAHA is a part of MAGA, and RFK Jr. is Health and Human Services Secretary. As insane as that sentence is to say out loud, and I surprise myself as I say it out loud at how much it freaks me out, that's the case. So Pamela Brown had one of the RFK Jr.'s advisors on to talk about what's happening.
They're going
right
to kill
now in
so many
Texas with this
Americans.
measles outbreak.
Like, they're going to kill so many
And
people.
Right
They already
now,
started.
The CDC just paused a meeting that they were supposed to have on the issue of vaccines, just delaying it indefinitely under RFK's leadership as
Leonard
Health and Human
Peltier
Services
freed after 50
Secretary.
years.
They have stopped advertising for folks to get the flu vaccine, as we're in the middle of one of the worst flu seasons. It's a mess. And there's also bird flu right now that has the capacity potentially to cross over to humans. And Elon Musk's Doge cut all those people, then realized what they had done because they just basically clicked Control All or Control F in a document and then pressed delete. And then realized, oh, these are the folks working on the bird flu that's making the egg prices go up, which Donald Trump said he wanted to bring down. Okay, can we hire you guys back, please? Civil servants, can you please come back? It's a disaster, and we're going to get 4 years of this. Here's one of RFK Jr.'s advisors talking about this measles outbreak.
And just to be clear, these are two separate issues. There's vaccines, which are proven safe and effective, and we're going to talk more about that. But
Fucking
then there's
worm.
the issue of disease caused by, you know, the food that we're consuming, processed food, and all of that, which, as you both agree on, that needs to be dealt with. That needs to be a priority, of course, which is why, in many ways, RFK Jr. has gained so much popularity among many Americans on that issue. But I want to go to you, Callie, to respond. And also, you know, with this measles threat, is it now a time to promote vaccines? Which again, the CDC says safe, effective, that 2 doses are 90% effective against measles. Is it now
Get
the
your
time
shots,
to promote
kids.
that, especially among children who are being impacted by measles in places like Texas and in these 6 states who are unvaccinated, according to health officials?
Pamela, with respect, why aren't you asking me about the fact that 50% of teens have obesity? Why aren't there are a breadth
I
of
have other
segments
questions
being
for you,
run?
but we're talking.
They're gonna kill so many children. Like, we saw a small scale, like what's gonna happen to America. We've seen it happen across like lower income places, like American Samoa. RFK Jr. got a bunch of children killed there by convincing their parents to be anti-vaccine. Puerto Rico was hollowed out and destroyed by corrupt politicians selling it to venture capitalist firms. These psychos will kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans. And I can't wrap my head around it. Like, the cravenness of it all is beyond reproach.
And about this.
Day after day after day, Pamela, it's breathless coverage of 5 measles cases.
God, you sound. He looks like a fucking Nazi. He's just a Nazi.
Worldwide were Americans when we're only 4% of the world population because the CDC.
Pause it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know why?
Fucking
Because of cranks like you. Because of cranks like you saying that the vaccine wasn't safe and effective, then when we know it was a safe and effective at reducing transmission and severity, and then there were obviously variants, and we've had updated versions of that mRNA vaccine that have still protected people. And by the way, these were the vaccines greenlit by Donald Trump, the
Yeah, like, no, dude, like, he's attacking modern medicine, and again, like, he's crazy. Like, big recommendation, Behind the Bastards by Robert Evans, his podcast, amazing. He did a 4 or 5 part special on RFK Jr. and just how mentally ill he fucking is. Like, that worm did damage, obviously. You can actually see it compared to how he was like 20 years ago. But his own personal history beforehand, like, he's like psychotic. Like, his family did that recent post. Was like, yeah, our brother, uncle, cousin is a bully, and he's like not all there. And like, again, he cheated on his wife to the point, like he cheated on her so prolific. He was such a prolific adulterer that he kept a sex journal of like all the times he would do it. And funny that you say that. I'll double back to that. He was such a prolific adulterer that when his wife found the journal, it's alleged that that's like what pushed her over the edge and made her kill herself. And like he was trying to cheat on Cheryl Hines during the election, like, but he just didn't get it close enough to this woman to fuck her. And yeah, it's funny that you say about the worm. My friend was like how it's like, I mean, he's doing all sorts of stuff. Like I think Anthony Jeselnik also did the bit too. But it's like, yeah, how do we know, like, the worm isn't just driving RFK Jr.? It's like, get rid of all the pesticides. Like, that's something a worm would say. Like, yeah. Like, what the fuck? God. Oh, he's a monster. I was holding off on getting, like psych meds myself, like antidepressants. And as soon as he got confirmed, I called my doctor and I was like, hey, put me on something. And they're like, well, Dan, like, we're going to do some other follow-ups and stuff. I was like, no. Get me a prescription. Like, I'm going to have to survive the next 4 years. Like, I'm not doing it like, I'm not doing the next 4 years raw dog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pilling up. And they got me some stuff that I'm going to start taking, like, this week. Like, we got to. And, like, yeah, he's talking about sending people on antidepressants and, like, Adderall and shit. He's talking about sending them to wellness camps, and it's like, what are you talking about, bud? Just give them the pills. Like, that's how America works. It's all a pharmaceutical game. Oh, well, we want to get people off those, and it's not best for their health to be dependent on these pills. And I'm like, God damn it, you sound like you're gargling marbles. Shut the fuck up. God damn.
President who you now apparently serve with Operation Warp Speed, which was actually very successful, but the left would have done it differently. We wouldn't have just given billions and billions of dollars to big pharma. We would have said, okay, we'll subsidize you to research it, but we own it after.
Yeah.
I hate these people so much. The death in this country preceded the vaccine because our ultimate priority was not public safety, but getting people back to work so they can serve the type of people that give these people money to go spew their goddamn bullshit on CNN. How disgusting.
Matt Leck is amazing. I love that guy.
Kids, that's because of our food system, you idiot. Like, that's...
Yeah, agreed. You want to reform that? But then what? The lazy whataboutism. Pamela Brown did made a painstaking effort at the beginning of that question to say,
she did.
We are taking into consideration all these other things that you are throwing out there.
And then that fucking snowflake RFK guy got fucking triggered.
Can we deal with this measles outbreak where over 100 cases are now being reported between West Texas and New Mexico combined? Can we have that discussion? Oh, no, wait. Another whataboutism.
Of COVID deaths worldwide were Americans when we're only 4% of the world population because the CDC...
Kash Patel and his reps are going to be having conversations like these when he's like detaining American citizens that speak out against Trump. It's going to be like, Mr. Patel, what do you have to say about 100 people stolen in the dead of night from their homes without warrants and are now being held in a black site off in like Puerto Rico or something? And Cash will be like, well, what about the 2020 election? Like, didn't you guys steal that from Donald Trump? We're just making up for lost time. Like, this is the kind of shit that's about to start hitting the timeline. These people are fucking insane.
CDC said our immune system. No, it is related, Pamela, and let me say why. Because the entire...
Put the pen down, you fucking jackass. You're not writing anything right now, you stupid fuck. God damn it.
25 times in the first hearing and said the words obesity, diabetes, and Crohn's disease
the fuck
0
up.
times. The HHS priority document under President Biden said the word equity 25 times, said the word vaccine.
Sorry, pause it one more second. I really get frustrated hearing people like this talk and think they should be muzzled. But just say there's a reason that measles comes up with RFK.
Like, that's the thing, like, free speech is great, but you shouldn't be allowed to yell fire in a goddamn movie theater. Same thing goes for, like, you shouldn't be allowed to spread, like, insane misinformation and bullshit about vaccines. It's unfucking, like, it's unacceptable. Like,
because he has a history of lying or spewing his bullshit about vaccines that kills people. You search RFK, American Samoa. He's killed kids with his bullshit.
And now it's spreading to West Texas. It's Texas State Department health data shows that
I'm not super optimistic about Texan parents like realizing the dangers of an unregulated society, considering what happened with Uvalde. Like the idea that like 21st and second graders can get like decapitated by gunfire is tolerable as long as you're allowed to keep an AR-15. Like that's absurd. That's beyond obscene. So yeah, these people will tolerate letting their children die to measles. They don't care. Like if you care about your kids, you fight for a better tomorrow. You don't fight for the old West so you feel like a big man carrying around a 6-shooter being like, I'll stop any terrorist that comes up to me. I'll be the lone wolf hero with the gun. Like, yeah, they don't give a fuck about measles. It's like, oh, it's a tragedy. God took them too soon or some bullshit. Fuck me.
the vast majority of cases are among people younger than 18, and it's mostly concentrated with kids who are unvaccinated or under-vaccinated, meaning they've maybe only had one dose. But keep going.
I did not say the word obesity or diabetes. There is a problem right now because this is not zero. This is zero sum. We are focused on a very small subset that's important. We need good infectious disease management. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Offit is not correct. Bobby Kennedy has said one thing about vaccines and one thing only, that they should be studied like any other product. Dr. Offit on the ASIC.
If there is a vaccine on the market, it has been heavily studied, researched, tested before implementation. That includes the COVID vaccine. These people are mentally ill. They're out of their fucking minds. And like, I'm sorry, I'm living proof that if you get the COVID vaccine every year, you're not going to fucking die from it. Like, I've gotten it every year since it became available. And I've had different versions. I've had Moderna, Pfizer. Like, I've had it multiple times. And I'm fine. Like, I didn't just up and die from the fucking COVID vaccine. Because that's what everyone was saying. It's like, oh, you're taking it now, but 5 years from now, like, you're going to wish you had. And I'm like, no, I'm glad I did. Like, because the first time I got COVID was horrific. I dodged it for like two years. It was one of the worst times I'd ever been sick. It completely incapacitated me. The second time I got it was nowhere near as bad. And I've had the COVID shot every year since it came out. And again, this is my personal anecdote. Don't take my word for it. But every credible doctor has said, get the fucking shot. Like, and then this jackass gets up in there that wants to take away every bit of affordable health care for Americans. I just, like, this administration needs to be revoked. It's just horrendous.
Committee has recommended vaccines that have ended up being
when he says they should be studied, he says that I don't trust any of the studies that have been done for decades about things like
a century
autism and vaccines. I think it needs
overall
to be studied until it confirms my biases, and you're really stupid if you can't understand that. Go ahead.
Nearly 1 in 5 incoming
I mentioned it earlier, Matt. I wasn't sure if you were, Jeff, I mentioned it earlier. I wasn't sure if you were here for it, but like, it's so absurd, like the premise of everything that they're presenting to us, that you can't like see it at face value for what it is because it's so absurd. But the way Matt just put it is exactly what this guy is saying. He's saying, I just don't trust the studies that have been done or the decades of, like, the century worth of results on vaccines that they've saved lives and will continue to save lives. He's just there to discredit them. Like, this administration from head to toe, there's no person in this administration that wants to help Americans. They just want to hurt us. They just want to kill us. And they just want to beat us down so corporations can do whatever they want with us. And I never thought America... Yeah, no, it is a death cult. And I just never thought America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, the place that made us pledge loyalty to the flag every day when we were kids, up until like our teenage years, would betray its own people so thoroughly and so completely. And like the idea that like, well, they voted for it, they were asking for it. It's like they didn't know what they were asking for. You guys failed them. The media failed them. Leadership failed them. Like, and corporations like were just there to exploit them. And now they've got it all. Like, let's keep going.
Kindergarteners in that area in Gaines County did not get the vaccine. That 18% vaccine exemption rate for the county is one of the highest in the state, according to data from the WOKES. Oh, actually, it's the Texas Department of State Health Services. So, what a coincidence that measles is outbreaking in the area that has one of the highest vaccine exemption rates in the state.
I just looked up what this guy is, what TrueMed is. TrueMed is a company that helps people use their health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts. That dumb financial bullshit is part of the reason why Americans die, is because no parasite like this idiot, Callie Means, is that his name? No parasites like him should be even involved.
As someone who's used both FSAs and HSAs, and currently uses an FSA, the premise behind them is obscene. It's that you deduct money from your paycheck that goes into an account that is non-tax, and you can use that on medical expenses. And with how much Medicare, like, I think me and Patrick were talking last time about how he went and did like a bunch of shit in Australia and only had to pay $18. I've been doing all my medical stuff ASAP because of what I knew was coming from the Trump administration. And I've spent like $2,000 so far this year on just basic stuff like dental care, medical checkups, putting myself on I started doing a CPAP machine, which is amazing. But like all this stuff, and it costs $2,000 of that FSA I've already wiped out. It's almost gone. And it will be gone before we're halfway through the year. And it's like, then how do I afford the rest of like the needed medical care that I need if it comes up? And God forbid if I get a fucking medical emergency, like we're just fucked. And it's like for FSAs and HSAs to exist so someone can charge and bill those contributions or those corporations that do use them to get like their paychecks out of it. And it's like, listen, I understand we have a lot of people in this nation and we're not going to have like the best jobs for all of them, but like there are needless jobs. Like FSA and HSAs shouldn't exist in a nation with healthcare for all. They don't exist in other nations because they don't have to be. We've created a solution for a problem that doesn't need to exist anymore. And the solution is to perpetuate the problem indefinitely. And RFK is he's just going to make it worse. He's just going to make it even more for profit.
In healthcare,
yeah,
doing some sort of no, it should be public insurance. Publicly paid for.
Yes.
Not this fancy new tax scheme to get some people health care. This guy is a parasite.
But these are the anti-vaxxers. They are the people. They are basically financiers or trying to make money off of it. What happened? Wasn't RFK Jr.'s like a charitable organization taking a bunch of shady donations and it was offshore or something like that? This is a business for these people selling you snake oil. So an 18% vaccine exemption rate in this area that's getting this measles outbreak. Across the country, the national average is 4%. So it must just be a total coincidence. But keep going.
Small subsect. That's important. We need good infectious disease management. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Offit is not correct. Bobby Kennedy has said one thing about vaccines and one thing only, that they should be studied like any other product.
That's not true.
Dr. Offit on the ACIP committee has recommended vaccines that have ended up being recalled for causing mass issues to kids. Bobby Kennedy has written multiple books, not about being anti-vax, but about having good science. And Dr. Offit is calling him anti-vaccine for literally just saying we need studies. Bobby Kennedy is not concerned with measles. He wants good policies with measles. He wants to attack the 92% of the United States, which is chronic conditions.
Measles.
Fuck that guy.
All right, well.
That's a charlatan bullshit. And again, like, I'm sorry to make it about CNN. Why do a capitalist who is profiting off healthcare get invested with some sort of credibility on these issues?
I mean,
CNN has been responsible for giving credibility and plausibility to so many horrible people. And it's like what happened to journalistic ethics? Like, did that just go away? I don't understand. Like I was so baffled when Trump was doing the town hall with Caitlin Collins. And it was just all softball questions. The audience loved him. They were his fans. And it's like, didn't you people ever used to hold people to account? Like, what happened to Lois Lane? Like, she was always going after Lex Luthor. It's like, hey, Lex, did you poison the well, you piece of shit? And Lex would be all like, oh, no, Lois, I'm too smart and too clever for that. And she's like, well, how about this? I got the evidence, you fuck. Like, what happened to that kind of journalism? Like, holding truth to power. Instead, it's all just like, no, we are a for-profit industry and we need to pander to the least common denominator so we can sell ads. And it's like, fuck you. Like, there's so much in our nation that should be supported by the state. Like, not controlled, supported. Like anything infrastructure-wise, like UPS, obviously, but like power, and frankly, like media. Like, there should be state media, but in the sense that it's like, here's the money that you're making. It's a set amount. There's no, like, Jeff Bezos isn't allowed to buy WAPO and all this, and Warner owning CNN and Disney owning ABC and shit, or however the hell that works. Like, it should be like, we're going to give you guys money, seek the truth, and report on it. And I know that's a dangerous thing to say considering RT exists, but it's like we're at a point where there's little to no options left. I mean, like, there's guys like me following up on what Majority Report and Internet Today and all the other guys are tracking and reporting on, where they're following up on. But it's like, you need investigative journalists and you need reporters that will attack these people for their lies and not platform them like they're doing here, like Matt's talking about. Like, this guy doesn't need a platform. He's just a fucking liar. And he's getting away with lying on national television. Granted, CNN is rightfully failing for its behavior, but it's like, it's done so much damage in the last 20 years, legitimizing like truly awful and terrible people. Ever since the fucking war in Iraq, like, the media has been wholesale complicit in the modification of public perception to be pro-state and pro going after each other, like American versus American. Let's get the money shot out of it. It's like the fucking movie Nightcrawler, but instead of like early morning chases around for like beat videos, like, they're antagonizing the whole of the nation for whatever like, they're shaking that tree for whatever falls out, and it's all nightmare fuel. Let's keep going.
And it's because I think he's actually an RFK Jr. advisor. I'm not sure if it's formal, but it is crazy to set it up like it's some sort of debate.
Like, he's
when
a
it's not.
doctor.
They had
He's not a doctor. He's just a businessman.
But Dr. Peter Hotez went on with Anderson Cooper, hopefully later that night, and explained it very clearly. But it's absolutely, it's devastating. And this disinformation is going to cause more high unvaccinated rates. And you can still, if your kid is vaccinated and you're doing all the right things, if this is circulating around and mutating, it still has the ability to affect your family. It really could kill kids. And this is the kind of thing that we had previously
we're primed for some novel viruses. It's going to be great.
This sort of thing has me back in my 2008 era, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, scientific skepticism, F you anti-vax idiots. Like, I hate these people. These people are evil. They are attacking our civilization.
I've lost family members to COVID and other things too.
There's already a body count associated with RFK and measles, and all these people are
children.
Too chicken shit to actually acknowledge what was actually done there. It's actually, no, I didn't have a big role in that. I was just doing this. It's just.
The fact that Bill Cassidy, a practicing physician who has had to tell parents of like their dying children, changed his mind and voted for RFK Jr. is the height of corruption. Like, that's how you know, like, the Republican Party is gone. They do not care about their people. They care about maintaining power and having money. That's it. accolades, like whatever. As long as they're on top, they don't care. And like they will build a podium out of the bodies of your children to stay up there. Again, like you said earlier, Jeb, death cult. Like it's obscene. It's abhorrent. Again, like in a just world, Bill Cassidy would be would have his license revoked and he'd be whipped in the street. Instead, like he just gets to like mosey on and do whatever the hell he wants because it doesn't matter. RFK won. Fuck us.
It is. It's pushing me to the limits of acceptable broadcasting.
They're also lying about the idea that he never said anything about vaccines. He said on a podcast 2 years ago saying that he's like casting aspersions on the measles vaccine. He was caught on camera saying that that COVID was a bioweapon.
RFK said if he could go back in time, he would stop his children from being vaccinated.
Bioengineered.
He's fucking insane.
Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. I mean, it's a lunatic.
And he's saying all this stuff about, oh, he only says this, or actually he said this and the thing. That's because every anti-vax person, including the ones watching this right now, they are chicken shits afraid to acknowledge what they actually believe because it's fucking laughable. Because really what it is fear of needles and anxiety being glossed up as some charlatan Kennedy aristocrat gets to tell you that actually this is meaningful.
I love Matt so much.
And
like Matt's fucking
and all
great.
these other people who have fed into this stuff. I think they deserve to get. We're having this conversation about in Brazil about banning Rumble and Lula and all the free speech. Like Glenn Greenwald's talking about all the threat to free speech. The Pentagon. This is a matter of public record. Spread anti-vax propaganda in China. China had
they did,
and they were justified in doing so, suppressing that speech because anti-vax stuff is contrary to a functioning society, and we'd be justified to do it here too.
Absolutely. And
it's just regulation.
It's just not
like you don't let anyone get a forklift, drive a forklift without a fucking license. I don't know how else to put it.
The MMR
Fuck
vaccine,
these guys.
Safe, highly effective. It was introduced in 1963, when the United States saw some 3 to 4 million cases of measles per year. Now, it's usually fewer than 200 in a normal year, but now we have over 100 cases between Texas and New Mexico right now.
Hey, folks, don't forget.
I want to watch this one, but I'm way too tired. I do want to see Warren Buffett attack Musk. Oh, let's watch this one. This guy's a fucking monster. He is an absolute monster. Terrible human being. So let's go to town on this.
Like, there's something so funny about thinking that U.S. aid spreads woke around the world, and to a certain degree it does, but being so hyper focused on the NGO scheme that you think exclusively benefits Democrats, and there's again some truth to that, you know, it's like, oh, this is a money laundering scheme for the Dems, okay, that you fail to consider why this structure exists.
We're gonna watch these 4, then I'm calling it a night. Yeah, I got way more tired faster than I thought I would.
All right. Anyway, let's get back to the news. Trump fires top U.S. general and Navy chief.
Breaking details. Selena, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Gio. This is an unprecedented purge in military leadership. The president is military officer in this country, and other
the president will turn the military on the people.
Through the Pentagon.
It's just a matter of time.
The president hasn't directly said why he's firing them, but he has made it clear that he wants to get rid of anyone in the military who supports diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Overnight, President Trump firing the nation's top military leadership in an
He's such a monster.
Purge. Trump ousting General C.Q. Brown as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, removing the 4-star fighter pilot as America's top military leader, and firing multiple other senior leaders, including Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to serve as the Navy's top admiral, the #2 ranking general in the Air Force, and 3 other senior officers. Brown was nominated by Trump in his first term, which made him the first black chief of staff for the Air Force, but has come under fire as Trump aims to rid the military of leaders who support diversity and equity, as Brown and some of the others who were fired had done. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth once called Brown
Alleged
a
alcoholic
DEI
Nazi
hire.
rapist.
Well, first of all, you got to fire. You got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Brown telling our chief global affairs correspondent Martha
I
Raddatz
fucking
last
hate
year
him so
he wants
much.
to be
I
judged
fucking
by
hate him
his
so
abilities.
goddamn hard.
I want to be judged based on
Piece
my
of
own
shit.
accomplishments, based on my merits, and given an opportunity. That's all I've asked for throughout my, growing up. That's what I've asked for throughout my Air Force career. And hopefully, I'm sitting in this chair as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs not because I'm African American.
Oh, he's using
because I'm
Chatterino. Okay, I'm gonna start doing what
Trump
Hassan's
nominating
doing
as
in the
his
next couple of vids.
replacement, Dan Kane, a
If
retired
I
three-star
think
Air Force general
Chatterino
who has
allows
never
for
served in a four-star position. The shakeup comes
allows
as
for
Pentagon
kick
prepares
streams.
to lay off 5,400
It'll be a better
civilian
layout. I like
workers
that.
starting next week.
This is mine
In
is
the
kind of
first
crowded.
wave of firings that could total tens of thousands of workers as the Pentagon aims to cut 5 to 8% of its civilian workforce. Layoffs also hitting the Federal Aviation Administration.
Dude, capitalism is so funny. In order for capitalism to continue, you have to do imperialism. Okay?
It's true.
Labor is the most malleable aspect of production, of commodity production. And that means you have to constantly dominate labor, okay? Both internally and also with imperialism externally. But ironically enough, because of the endless growth attitude and the endless profit seeking that these parasitic capitalists have, they end up gutting their own institutions that unironically will undermine their ability to conduct imperialism. It's fucking awesome. Okay? On the one hand, I'm very frustrated with the reality that so many of these people are getting laid off. Okay? A job is a job. It's ridiculous.
They're
On the other
Americans.
hand,
If they weren't, they're
I can't
humans.
help but notice that, and the same goes for deleting U.S. aid. I can't help but notice that these guys are probably going to engage in a private-public partnership and, put all of these agencies in the hands of
Palantir.
the private sector that will now provide this service,
Peter Thiel.
which will make it more costly and ultimately significantly worse. Okay? The one thing that is, I guess, good about the government is that money is supposed to be no object. Okay? This allows you to do things that private enterprise might not be able to do. This allows you to avoid the trappings of corner cutting, short-term profit seeking, and the like. I'll give you the greatest example. If the American military was in this private-public partnership structure under the Cold War, we would have not gotten DARPA to invent what you now know as the f***ing internet. Okay? It's pretty crazy.
More than 100 probationary employees have been terminated, including team members that produce air traffic navigation maps. Multiple sources tell ABC. While Trump insists the cuts are making the government more efficient, angry Americans across the country, from Georgia to Kansas, are pushing back.
We are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
In a district near Atlanta, Republican Congressman Rich McCormick feeling the heat.
Rich McCormick.
People would like to know what you, Congressman, and your fellow
Rich McCormick is an animal. I've said it earlier. He said children should have to work to have school lunches. Like, they should have like a job, and that's how they pay for school lunches. That's an animal. That's a monster in a human suit. Like, these are children. Like, he's talking as young as 12. Like, they should be working to have food. Just feed the kids, you jackass. Like, they only get a few years where their lives aren't complete shit until they have to do all this fucking capitalist dog whistling bullcrap. Meanwhile, this guy and his fucking chud Nazi haircut guy right here, fucking animal McCormick. And the way he treats his constituents here with just open contempt. Fuck this guy.
congressmen are going.
Like, there's something so funny about thinking that U.S. aid spreads woke around the world, and to a certain degree it does. But being so hyper-focused on the NGO scheme that you think exclusively benefits Democrats, and there's, again, some truth to that. You know, it's like, oh, this is a money laundering scheme for the Dems, okay? That you fail to consider why this structure exists to begin with.
They don't
it is
care.
hilarious. That's what I think happened here. They looked at USAID and they were like, this is a Democrat Party liberal scheme to keep paying their guys to basically create like a money faucet for liberals and Democrats to set up civil society organizations all around the globe. And to a certain degree, it's not false. That is what
I mean, that's definitely one way of putting it,
but
Jeb.
they don't understand why
I'm not
USAID
gonna-
has done that. It's not
I don't
simply
disagree.
to give Democrats money, you fucking idiot. Like, so much of the justification against China revolves around USAID-funded media projects and civil society organizations. Is going to constantly pump out material talking about how China's got social credit schemes and how they're engaging in like unlimited.
I love like the right-wing talking point, the obsession with social credit in China. And it's like, we got credit scores over here and they're worse. Like, they're much worse. Like, you guys talk about like social credit, like it's purely based on like how often you praise this glorious leader. And like, that's definitely a portion of it, but it's also like over here, like you have no credit score out of the gate. And like, that's the first step to ever buying a house, is just having this random number assigned to your value. And they just ignore it because it's like, it's easier to hate the Chinese for their Chinese thing, and we don't want that over here. And it's like, I'm all for aping what China does right, which is dumping money into like infrastructure and its civilians and its research. And it's like, they went from an agrarian like industrial state like as short as 20 years ago, and with all the money that they gained from selling cheap shit-ass products to us and the world around, like, they've become arguably the greatest superpower. Like, we're still barely hanging on, but, like, China's about to eclipse us, especially with the actions taken here. Like, there's no way. Somebody said it like, last century was the century of the U.S. The next century is going to be the century of China. And it's like, yeah, like, that's how it's going to be. Like, it would behoove most Americans to learn Mandarin now. Like, learn Mandarin, obviously finish up Spanish if you can. But yeah, like, hey, Pat, we've been chatting. Me and Jeb's been keeping me company here. Yeah. Hey, buddy. We're watching this and then 3 more videos. We're halfway through it. Hassan, we just watched Rich McCormick. Actually, he's gonna say some shit. Let's keep going.
Organ harvesting of all Chinese that don't like Xi Jinping or whatever. How are you gonna do that? People say Johnny Harris does it for free. Except Johnny Harris relies almost exclusively on dudes who are in some way, shape, or form funded by USAID civil society organizations. So his sources need that kind of money to constantly do research. It's truly idiotic. Just like without real journalism existing, regardless of my criticisms of all of these insane publications that just like actively lie, undermine the truth, New York Times, yada, 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 I still will always tell you it is a profoundly important institution that must exist. I cannot do what I do without these institutions. I can't do my job, regardless of my criticism, without real... Yusuf Mansouri, as a Yemeni, I'm sorry you got canceled twice because you dared to defend Yemen. No, it wasn't a real cancellation, number one. And number two, I will always defend people that are being actively murdered and slaughtered by Western Empire, okay?
Hassan's a real one.
I don't give a if people, quote-unquote, cancel me. Also, that's a funny-ass name. Yusuf Mansouri. Like the dude who makes those ugly-ass cars. Isn't his name also Yusuf Mansouri? The Mansouri cars? Chatter's about to be like, yo, that's my dad, bro. Chill. Anyway. We'll talk about is an Arabic surname. No, it's a clan name, Al-Mansouri. I follow a few Telegram groups that are pretty good for up-to-date news from Gaza, but their ideology overall is insane to me. They froth at their mouth over woke, but they also hate Musk and Trump. They also love Russia. That's amazing. I love shit like that. I feel like that right there is, I guess, the third worldist position. Like, that low-key is like, that feels like the position of the global south. You know what I mean? No, not even fucking MAGA communists, dude. Are you kidding me? MAGA communists love Trump. They eat Trump's dick. It's the most bizarre ideological build. It's not. I've tried to explain this to you. I don't agree with it, but I've tried to explain this to you before, and I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, they think America is the big bad for understandable reasons, because from their perspective, America is the big bad. So they literally are
We
just
kind
like,
of
yeah,
are.
I'm anti-everything West.
We're the new Nazi empire
is the
now.
West like promoting homosexuality? Okay, fuck that. I hate it. This doesn't mean that like they didn't have homophobic opinions ahead of time, but this is just like is a way for them to reaffirm that, because they're like, oh, that's like Western moral degeneracy. Okay, and they like Russia because they think Russia is like striking back, is the only country that has the capacity to strike back at the big bad West. That's it. Oh, they're also anti-Syrian, recent Syrian revolution. Okay, then they're just they're like a. I would say that they are. They're not like the third worldist position. I think most people are pro Syrian revolution. They're pro-Russian, but they're also pro-Syrian revolution. And I think that if those guys are also like pro-Assad, they're like the remaining fucking 8 Assadists. Like what's the dude's name? The fucking Scottish dude. George Galloway. People who say they think Syria deserves what comes to it because it's been overtaken by terrorists is a fucking freak. Surprisingly, they're also very anti-Semitic. That's not very surprising. You've just described 11 different ways why these guys are fucking cranks. It's not really that. I will now clip this as you wholeheartedly supporting them. Fuck you. All right, let's
to
keep
do
going.
to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
In Colby, Kansas, voters furious at Republican Congressman
They cut it off, but like they laid into Rich. He is a monster.
Tracy Mann.
Is there anything that Trump and Elon could do that you would not support? I'm sure. Oh, tell me.
These mass layoffs are.
Yeah, all the Republican politicians are basically just saying like to their constituents, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you guys don't know what you want, which is true. They didn't. They voted them all in. They're like, you guys don't know what you want. Shut the fuck up. Know your role. We're doing our thing now, and if you don't like it, don't worry, we'll get to you. They're not even saying go fuck yourself. They're basically saying, like, we'll get around to you. And, like, Kash Patel is going to send them off to a fucking black site. Like, it's obscene.
We're putting the federal government in turmoil at the same time that the Pentagon is dealing with this big leadership shakeup at the top. It's also starting to lose a significant portion of its workforce. Now, the administration is insisting that this is not going to impact military readiness. But
Liars.
some
They're just
Pentagon workers
lying.
tell us that they're concerned it could impact the readiness
I don't
of
know if you're
troops
both in the
since
States, but,
civilian
like,
workforce
essentially right now, like,
supports them
no
both at
American
home
can trust the
and around the
government
world.
right now. Like, there's nothing you can hear from them or that they say is trustworthy in the slightest. Like, it is all lies. Let's see. This is what's going on today. This is the new insanity.
Hey guys, it's me, Sam Stein, here on Saturday night. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I couldn't pull myself away.
Me neither, Sam. It's insane.
YouTube, because some crazy shit's happening as usual on the
Yep.
weekend. Before we get into it, subscribe to the feed as always. So basically, what's happened tonight is that Elon Musk has taken it up a notch. I didn't think it was possible, but
And
Elon
he
Musk,
said he wasn't in charge of
has
Doge. I
announced-
guess he's a
actually,
fucking
it's
liar.
About 2:45 this afternoon, he announced that he was going to be sending all federal employees an email. In that email, he was going to be asking them to list what they have done at work over the last week. Which, okay. But then it contained this line: failure to respond will be taken as a resignation.
He's not
which
an
is
elective
a lot.
official.
Like that seems extraordinary. And in fact, already we're seeing legal scholars question whether that's actually allowable.
He should be in
There are
jail.
certain laws dictating how federal employees can resign or be fired, and it seems like this might be in violation of that.
Seems.
You probably would want to think about that before sending the email, but or before sending the tweet, but whatever. So I was kind of waiting around trying to figure out what was going to happen, and then this evening at 5 o'clock, the emails came out, and the subject line was, "What did you do last week?"
He sent this to judges.
Like, literally, that's the subject line. What did you do last week? It came from the HR at
He sent it to judges.
That's the Office of Personnel
Like
Management.
every government
And
employee.
the body of the email says, "Hey, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information. Links
2
or
million
attachments.
remaining
Deadline
Fed
is
employees."
Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is nuts. I just want to be clear. It's nuts for a variety of reasons. Let's start with the least offensive reason. It's a Saturday afternoon. I know Elon likes to work on the weekends. Hey, I'm here working on the weekends too. But legitimately, this is not an email to send on a Saturday afternoon. It's just not. And then to give people a Monday deadline is whatever. That's a day and a half, 2 days. But what if they're not working on Monday?
Jeb, I think you're insulting idiots by saying that they would ask a question this fucking dumb.
What if someone is on vacation? What if they have extenuating circumstances? They don't check their email.
Also, that was another thing. Yeah, there are people on vacation
say,
that can't
"Hey,
even get
failure
to their
respond
emails.
Will result in your resignation or be considered, resignation."
Billionaires just hate
I'm sure there's a
anyone
fair
that works an
number of
hourly.
2.1
Like, they just hate them.
million federal employees who are not going to see the email. It just happens. Not everyone's going to catch it. People have lives that interfere. Okay, so that's one. Two, and the most important one, is you might have seen a small distinction between what Elon's tweet said and what the email said. His tweet said that if you don't respond, they would consider it resignation. The email said nothing to that effect, right? There's nothing in the email that says, "Hey, if you don't respond, we're going to consider this
He's
your
literally writing these.
resignation." Now, obviously that's a problem because not everyone's on Twitter checking Elon's Twitter feed.
There was a guy that Elon fired when he got hired by Twitter. It was a software engineer in Norway. I think he was Norway's Person of the Year. He's got a crippling neurological disorder that will eventually kill him, I think, in the next 10 years. But he's a massively intelligent person. Again, I'm pretty sure he was a software coder engineer working for Twitter, and he was hired on contract, and Elon told him he was fired, thus voiding his contract. And he was like, "Well, I was in the middle of this really sensitive work for you guys, but I mean, if you're going to cancel it, you're going to cancel it. Just make sure to pay me out the remainder of my contract." And Elon, of course, is like, "Why would I do that? That was signed before I got here. We don't owe you this much. It's too much for what you're doing. We don't owe you all this money. How dare you? We will not be doing such a thing." And then he's like, "Okay, well then I'm going to sue you and I'm going to get my money." So he sued him. It came out that Elon fired a rightfully contracted man of high quality and great renown, suffering a debilitating a neurological illness that will kill him, and you fired him and just told him to go fuck himself. And Elon, this was 2 years ago. He did backtrack a little for what backtracking is with Elon. He backtracked a smidge. But ultimately, the guy got paid out. He got paid out his contract and then some, if I'm not mistaken, for wrongful termination. Because Elon and Trump are not good business. They're not God damn it. It's oh, we want someone that knows how to run the country like a business. And it's you would have been better off with the president of Costco or the president of Arizona Tea. Why did you hire two one venture capitalist made idiot, and the other one a product of like racism and bloodline. Like, just you want real businessman, right? Running the business country. Like, these were not the guys to do it, you dumbasses. God.
Which one is the policy? Well, like, honestly, which one is the policy here?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't see Elon's Twitter feed and you just saw this email, you may say, oh, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm not going to respond. What are they going to do? And they might consider an act of resignation.
Division
Now,
directors are
I've
going to be scrambling on
emailed
Monday to get clarity
the White
on
House
this
to
and
get a
to
sense of
direct
which
their
one
employees on what to
actually
do.
is true. The email.
This is going to be facing another injunction as the Fork in the Road email did, at least extending the deadline, if not, again, a final court case just rendering it all completely illegal. Because it is illegal. You can't be doing this.
Or the tweet. And as of 6:10 p.m. on Saturday, I have not heard anything back. I think at some point they're going to have to like specify this for federal employees. This seems
Yeah, the directors are going to have to figure it
problematic,
out.
not just, it's like on a human level, but on a legal level. Like, probably need to have clear instructions to employees.
Just
I
destroying
will
the
note
law.
that the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Ed Martin, huge Doge Elon dude, he sent an email to his staff after Elon's email. It says, folks, Doge and Elon are doing great work. He actually said,
Ed
"We are
Martin is
happy
also
to
an
be
animal. Belongs in jail. He's a piece of shit.
Please respond to the HR email carefully with regard to confidentiality and other duties. Be general if you need to. If anyone gives you problems, I've got your back. You're good. See you Monday, Ed." Again, nothing in that email from Ed Martin, U.S. Attorney for D.C.
It's like a
tells
child's
the
idea of
employees
running a
that if they
business.
don't respond, it will be considered an act of resignation. That seems like not a minor detail. It seems like an important detail, right? Like, kind of matters. But maybe it doesn't, right? Like, what authority does Elon actually have here?
He's the president.
According to the government's own legal filings, is not the head of Doge.
Yeah, he's just the president.
Is this a direct order? If so, from who? Shouldn't the direct supervisor have a say in who gets hired or resigns and who gets fired? Like, what are we doing here? And didn't we just go through a week of totally random cuts that Doge pursued that then had to be reversed? Are we really going to call our federal workforce based on who actually read Elon's tweets and realizes that they need to respond, or else they're going to potentially resign? I mean, it just seems insane. Now, I've gotten a lot of feedback already from federal workers, and it's only been an hour. Some of them are just like, fuck this. Like, I'm not going to respond. Some of them are getting instructions not to respond, which I don't know. That seems kind of risky, but I mean, I guess if no one responds, then they can fire everybody. I've gotten people who have said they are like just apoplectic. I've gotten people who say they're incredibly depressed. Notably, I got people who had signed up for Elon's deferred resignation program, the off-ramp that was supposed to give them peace of mind until September, who got this email. So Elon's already given them a resignation, but now he's bugging them to say, what are the 5 things you've done? And threatening them with another resignation, which...
Okay, I think I said it already. I'm going to be doing videos, if not tomorrow, like earlier next week. And I'm going to outline like basic stuff that people can do to like get ready for this shit, like, and how insane it's going to be. Like, people need a clear picture of their lives and where they're going and how to handle a couple of tyrants that are high out of their minds. Because this is just insane.
I'm having trouble figuring out how this works. I had one person who said, I stared at the computer and wondered about the future of my country. This is a lot. And look, I don't know how I would respond in this circumstance, right? Like, I suppose I'd probably just put down 5 totally benign bullet points and say, here, this is what I did, and move on with my life. And if I got fired or forced to resign, I think that would be ridiculous, and I fight that. But this is the issue, is that it's sort of a psychological terror for workers. It's putting them in a very difficult spot where they have to figure out, is this legitimate? Is this not? Like, Do I have to respond to Elon? Do I have other things going on like that I need to respond to? Other people?
Elon has
My
enough
direct
money to give every
supervisor?
member of the federal
This is Saturday again, 5
workforce
p.m. I'm assuming
$100,000,
everyone in a federal
and he
office
should,
is
especially after
frantically
this.
trying to figure out what the hell this is. Probably going to the supervisors. The supervisors are like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on here? I need guidance. And look, like I will just say this, like, this doesn't make Elon particularly creative or thoughtful or, you know, efficient.
I mean, you need a lot to make him seem like
The
any
old
of those
playbook
things.
he did at all his companies. There's nothing like revolutionary or insightful about it. He's just terrorizing his workers, and he gets to pretend like this is some sort of like incredible managerial ingenuity that he like terrorizes his workforce. Like, oh, you made them say what they did in the past week. Brilliant, you know, like. No, it's stupid. This isn't going to make government more efficient. It's just going to make government less efficient. It's going to make the workplace culture less efficient. It's going to make people hate working there. And maybe that's what you want, but don't say that's in the name of efficiency. It's not. It's dumb. And it's unoriginal. You've done it before at every company. Everyone knew this was coming. It's stupid. Also, it's not particularly well designed. It doesn't take much, honestly, to imagine that the email that they sent out at hr@opm.gov is going to be completely inundated with internet bullshit. You know, people sending the script to the B movie and like a bunch of probably gay porn and stuff like that. I don't know how they're going to, the Doge boys are going to like go through 2.3 million emails if they get that many.
AI,
They're
just going to
AI
use
generator and figure something out, and then, you know, pretend like they fired a bunch of people. Maybe actually try to fire a bunch of people, and then that will get into lawsuits. And then
They will
we'll have to go
fire
through this whole rigmarole.
The end
all
goal
over
of what
again.
Elon is doing is a 70%
while,
reduction in
real-world
the
shit's
workforce.
happening,
He's just
and the
firing
government
people.
that's supposed to help people through real world shit won't do it. I will say,
the Republicans are just like,
irony is noted
we
by
want you to
more
die.
Than one person, to me, more than one federal worker, to me, is that Elon is asking people to respond to these emails at the same time that Elon cannot return emails from 2 women with whom he's had children. They've had to go on Twitter to beg him to return emails. Can't be bothered for that, but is demanding workers give him 5 bullet points at work, potentially risk resignation. All right, so here's where we get to our ask. If you are responding to this email that Elon Musk has sent out, send us your best response. Send us what you're saying. We're kind of curious. We have our tip line. It's thebulwark.com/tips. Hit us up. Kind of curious to see.
I think
what
it goes
they're gonna
without
get.
saying, guys, but if
Kinda
you know
curious
anyone
to
that can
hear what your
benefit from that,
reactions
get them
we will be
get them that
monitoring
info.
it. Maybe do a written piece
Please.
about it. Maybe read some of the best responses on
I'm not
YouTube.
going to be able to repost this stream
then,
until
thanks for tuning in.
maybe
Have a good
Monday.
one.
Hey, YouTube fam, if you want
I
to
can
support
try
the
tomorrow,
Bulwark,
but like
the best way to do it is by becoming a
try to do other
YouTube
stuff.
Bulwark.
Yes, okay, we're good. 2 more videos and we're calling it a night. Chris Norland, always good. I'm gonna go pee real quick and drink some water. I'll be right back.
So it appears that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are threatening to fire everyone. That's the subject of today's video. This is the tweet from Musk just a few minutes ago. Consistent with President Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. That's just coming from Musk. So they're going to send out some sort of email. I guess it says shortly, so I guess you'll get it, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, whatever, shortly. If you don't answer, they're saying you're gone. Fail to respond will be taking as a resignation. Like, how do we read this, right? Because like, what if you don't respond correctly? Will they also fire you? This is crazy. This is also coming from Trump. That was from Musk. Trump says, Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. So I guess this is what aggressive means, threaten to fire everyone. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before, MAGA. So that's from Trump. That's from Musk. It's nuts, right? Now, we've seen this kind of behavior from Musk before, and he has fired people en masse before, be it Twitter, Tesla, etc. Musk is generally not a liked person. And when you pull off crap like this, right, as a billionaire, you're basically threatening workers who, just regular everyday people. Hey, if you don't answer my email, you're fired. Musk is basically, and Trump, they're basically like a jealous boyfriend, bad boyfriend, abusive relationship. Just imagine, it's the kind of person that's like, send you a text. It's like, you better tell me you love me. If you don't answer this text, we're going to break up, or you better tell me you love me, right? Like that kind of stuff. That's what this ends up being. Let's look at some responses to this stuff. This is person blaming German civil servants, I guess. I don't know who that is, Rebecca. Elon Musk says, haha, wow. Eon Miles Chung, that's one of Musk's accounts that he interacts with a lot. Ha 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 ha. Like that's how these people behave. They think it's funny to threaten people with their jobs. These people aren't good. Was this person, if you need help, I'm in Chicago. We can start up with Trump's besties. I don't. That's what let's say. That's a threatening to Trump and Musk, I guess. Another person says, I used to work as a contractor on a federal contract a while back. Contractors did all the work while hoping to get guidance. So this person's promoting that, I guess contractors are better than federal employees. Like who are these people though? Seriously. It's a serious question. And then, these are all filled with muskrats and Musk sycophants, right? Federal employees' reaction while on vacation, finding out they have to respond to email or be fired. I don't know. Like, are you guys sitting at home going, "Oh yeah, that's great. Let's just fire everyone. Let's threaten all these workers." Like, I just find it weird that any regular sane person would want to treat your fellow citizens like this. The way that Musk portrays the government, it's like it's separate from you. But this is probably you, probably your family, members of your community, right? I find this whole thing bizarre. Musk has done the whole fork in the road thing where, they're trying to buy out people with a thing that may or may not ever have any money to it, right? So let's say you take their buyout, you may not get paid, and then you try to sue them and they'll just run away from that. Trump and Musk get sued all the time. And that's why I said this is, look at these people. So I don't know, like these accounts, are these all like bots? Like who sides with this stuff, right? I find it so bizarre. So all these people are laughing, haha, I'd love to see those letters. All bosses in business do this to their employees. Oh, the accountability. Like, do they guys? Do you get an email from your boss that says, tell me what you did last week. If you don't respond, you're fired. Is that how all bosses behave? That's why I always say when I see some of this stuff, it's like, are these people real? This person has this is actually a reasonable response. What if someone's on vacation? I think that's reasonable, right? What if you don't get the email for any number of reasons? What is this here? How many federal employees I did nothing? So again, the way they paint federal workers is like you guys are all not doing anything at all. And so I just find this strange, like these people. I just don't know what to say other than, to me, they're clearly nuts. I want to hear you guys' feedback as well. Do you hate all federal workers? Like, do you just think, oh my God, I just hate everyone at the Social Security. I hate Social Security, and I hate the VA, and I hate park rangers. Is that how you think? Is that, it's clearly how Musk and Trump think. They hate these just regular people. I don't know how anyone can support this kind of stuff. I really don't. It's becoming apparent that he's flying off the deep end. Regarding Musk, he's got a lot of personal problems, and this certainly affects, his role, be it abuse problems, addiction problems. He was just called out recently by one of his baby mamas, Grimes, by saying, hey, why aren't you taking care of our kids' health, basically. She had to make his statements publicly on Twitter because I guess he was not answering phone calls or emails or whatever. Today, he also, or actually, I think it was yesterday, he got sued by the other new baby mama. Was it Ashley St. Clair is the name? It says here, right-wing influencer sues to declare Elon Musk as her baby's father. So she's suing him, saying, you're the father. I think she wants custody. And she's saying stuff like, I take care of the kid, I feed the kid, etc. And you don't show any interest in the kid, that kind of stuff. So
why would he?
I want full custody, but I want to.
Elon isn't interested in any of his kids.
We'll see how that holds up in court. That's an interesting thing. But I mentioned the personal stuff because
meanwhile, I'm killing to get time with mine, his kids. Being able to spend time with them.
The same way he's a jerk CEO or jerk federal employee to other people. And these are the people in charge of our system, which is insane. I think they're going to run into all sorts of legal issues with this. Because let's say, for example, this is something that Musk would totally pull. They sent out the email, right? And we know actually they needed access to these kind of communication systems I think it was at the GSA where and it's hard to keep track of what they're doing, but one of the
breaking
person
the
who was
law.
in charge of the communication.
Like,
to
every
everyone,
action they've taken is a
stepped
law
down 'cause I guess
broken.
they didn't want to give him access, and then now
Piece of
Elon
shit.
Musk has access now. Now we know why. But he'll send out all these emails, and then you may get the email, but then they'll shut down your access, so you can't even respond. That's the kind of
it's
move
Chris
that,
Norland.
Musk will make. He pulls that kind of crap, right? Just on a
sorry,
whim,
here,
just cut
Chris
your access
Norland.
to
Yeah,
your
if
email
it
and
helps,
you can't respond. Some people may not, see
like
this for a while.
when I
It's a
re-upload
weekend
the
too. We're
streams, I
doing
put
this
the
on
links to
weekend.
every video
So
I
not
watched in
only
them.
Is the practice of this
I
stuff
mean,
terrible,
obviously
they're
you can
doing
just
it
find
every
him right
weekend the
now,
same way.
but
It's like every
yeah,
weekend they come up with
Chris
some sort of
Norland.
crap to pull, some sort of shenanigan. And I'm
He's
not-
very
that's why I
dry,
show you
very
guys what they
straightforward.
say.
He lives in
I'm saying,
Korea,
honestly,
South
if
Korea.
you're, let's say you love Republicans and you're on that side of the aisle, do you consider
think
this
it's-
stuff
yeah,
to
I
be
think it's South
conservative?
Korea.
Like, do you consider like this? Oh yeah,
Yeah, no problem,
this
Jeb.
is how we treat people. This is how we treat everyday citizens, right? Is that?
He's a recent addition to my watches.
values,
I've
family
been
values.
really expanding
Yeah, and
since
just talk about the family value stuff,
since
like
the
how you treat
inauguration.
your offspring. I think honestly, this whole thing is disgusting. I can't even make jokes about this stuff because I think it's very real that they're just going to figure out ways to just cut people off, and then the government shuts down. And at this point, I just feel like we're just purposely attacking America. Musk's plan and Trump's plan is to turn everyone, all these jobs into AI. It's all gonna be run by robots. That's what Musk says. And then we're going to use all your money to go to Mars. It's like, it's a giant cult, right? Which is laughable when it's, from afar, but when they have so much control, over people's jobs and money, et cetera, be it Social Security, VA, Medicare, all this stuff. I mean, this is just awful. And I don't know. I just think it's obvious, but I always wonder if people out there to think that like this is a good way to manage things. I mean, I just want to. Does anyone seriously think this is the way that you do things? And at your job, have you ever received an email?
I just
posted
posted in the chat. Again, I'm running really slow right now.
So that's what Musk is up to today. I want to hear
my bandwidth is wiped out. More Tesla layoffs to pay Elon more. Huh. I'm not going to watch these right now, but I'm going to watch those later. Last video of the night. Trump's popularity collapses with Gen Z. This is an older video. Huh. Hold on. Nine months ago. Ooh. What was this one? 9 months ago also. Huh. Okay, we're going to watch this one. We're going to call it a night.
Of The Economist came out with some polls looking at Donald Trump's popularity, Elon Musk's popularity, and then also some shifts in public opinion as it relates to Israel and Palestine. I found some of this stuff fascinating. If we could just scroll through here a little bit and get your guys' take on this. Trump had a honeymoon period when he started off. He was over 50% approval rating, but it's dropping. So according to YouGov and The Economist, more polls will come out soon.
No, it's dropping.
But,
Oh, no.
Now he is sub 500 in terms of approval. We'll see. Or sorry, sub 50% in terms of approval. Here we go. More people strongly or somewhat approved of how he was handling his job as president, 49%, then disapproved, 43%. And he's still higher up. But let's scroll down to the Elon Musk part of this. Or no, actually go up here. But we are seeing some drops with certain demographics. This 18 to 29-year-old one, where you see... Scroll up a little bit. No.
Views
I want to view the table. No.
This one?
No, the age group, but just like I want to see the title, so I can't see it on the stream. So, yeah. So, views of Donald Trump by age over the past 6 months. And you can see from August 2024, this spike for 18 to 29-year-olds. I wonder if that's a methodology issue, because they may have harder time contacting this age demographic. We could just put a pin in that, but like we do know that the Zoomers were a little bit more pro-Trump, particularly young men.
I don't think they talk about it in this because I think I've watched this one. I like how they're not the same, but you can see similar demographic shifts between the 18 to 29-year-olds and the 30 to 44-year-olds. And then it's kind of similar-ish between the 45 and 64 and the 65 and older. Like, I guess there's still some generational ties, but damn.
Millennials still holding it down.
It'd be nice to have dates to that because
Yeah.
would it correspond to like what TikTok ban or
It would correspond to the inauguration, which makes sense.
is that January that, that spike up?
Yeah. And then the spike here. The big spike. Oh, maybe him winning the election.
Okay, right.
And then the other spike is the inauguration. And you can see how that kind of translates. But this was the same thing that held in the polling prior to the election, that millennials and then people over 65 are kind of not as supportive of Donald Trump, but it's the Gen X and Gen Z voters who are booing his support. But Elon Musk, let's keep going.
It's the kids and their parents. It's pretty clear that's how it's working out.
Right.
Millennials are the children of boomers. Gen Z are the children of Gen Xers.
Yeah.
It seems like that really is, to be honest.
I
with
feel
you,
like I watched this
part of
video before. If I did, I'm
what's going
sorry,
on
but it's a
here.
good video.
That's a good point. Now, Musk's popularity, as I mentioned, is dipping. There have been multiple polls that indicate this. Elon Musk now, a majority of Americans view him somewhat unfavorably, 52%, and favorably, 42%, and his popularity has fallen in recent weeks. This share who say they have an unfavorable opinion of Musk increased 7 percentage points in the past week to 43% from 36%. So that's 43% and a 7-point increase in very unfavorable opinions of Elon Musk. Musk is increasingly seen as highly influential within Trump's administration. 63% of Americans say he has a lot of influence. That increased from 51% in the prior week's poll, probably buoyed by the fact that he did a press conference standing and Trump sat silently in the chair in the Oval Office as Elon Musk described how he was taking a hatchet to our federal government. But then this is the other portion, the Gaza part, that is really fascinating. This shows basically how the Democrats also have to completely extricate the Israel lobby from their party. The chart below is more interesting to me here. So you're seeing that a lot of people just will say that they equally sympathize with both. More Americans sympathize with the Palestinians in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict than have in years. The increase in support, sympathy for the Palestinians and the decrease in support for the Israelis, you can see that spike is October 7th. And it's been a gradual decrease for the Israelis, around equal. People who just both sides it, that remains the same. But look at the Democratic Party polling. This is a clear path forward for the Democrats. Like, Musk's popularity is going to keep going down. The chaos that
all you have to do is be the party that doesn't punch down.
Look, it's
at
not
people.
inevitable
Like, it's
that the Democrats
just
win
run on
or
that.
whatever,
Like,
but they have to be able to harness
run on.
this.
Be the
And
party that
part
doesn't
of
punch
is
down.
Basically standing up against genocide.
Fuck.
Look at that. Democrats are more pro-Palestinian than at any time in the past 7 years. The majority opinion.
Yeah, we just
according to
watched
this
half a
poll at
million
this
get
current moment, is
annihilated.
to be more
And
sympathetic
their homeland
to the Palestinians
destroyed.
among Democratic voters. The Israelis, 9%. Now, ask you.
35% right after October 7th, they completely blew any sort of blew. They cashed in to do a genocide and cut some demographics down, frankly.
And so, like, can you think about how proportional that is to the support for Israel within the Democratic caucus in terms of representatives? And then ask yourself,
Yeah, stop taking those
how
APAC
sustainable
checks.
this is. Because, like, when you look at that chart, 2024 is when that dip, I mean, you can see it wasn't at 9%, but it started to fall off really quickly after they began the active genocide. And during that whole period, you see 2024, look at that low number for the Israelis. Biden was running, and then Harris, building off of it, to appease a lot. This is not about, I hated this false notion that this was about like weighing pro-Israel voters versus pro-Palestinian or Arab voters. They framed it as if it was Jewish versus Arab voters that they were weighing these constituencies for. No, they were weighing the Israeli lobby versus what their voters wanted. And that shows it exactly right there, is that the voters, their base, were not supportive of what Israel was doing. and they pursued this policy anyway.
And I would suggest that the rise you see in support for the Israelis sort of creeping up before the election was Democrats sort of going along with the top of the ticket saying, okay, if we need to do this, we will support them. Once you see that it helped blow the election to Trump, people all of a sudden get a much more stark realization of how stupid Harris and Biden were over the past year.
Exactly, right. And there's a cynical part of it where it's like, oh, now that Trump is presiding over the ethnic cleansing and genocide of the Palestinians, there are Democrats that are against it now. Like, people in my life who are registered Democrats who never talked about the Palestinians suddenly have an opinion on it now that Trump is in office. So you can be cynical about it, but it's also what Matt's describing. You know, you can't expect, frankly, people aren't going to be as engaged in politics as we are. So they'll usually go along with what their political party is advocating for. But even despite the propaganda from the Biden administration, you saw that shift in opinion, and they still pursued the policy anyway. So this was not about electoral politics. I just want to make that as clear as possible. This was about a Zionist ideology. Anything? Any thoughts, folks?
You're right. It was.
Oh, my two favorite words.
I think that was 4 words, but yeah, but I think you mean your right part. But no, I mean, yeah, I think it was obvious at the time too. I think the argument that like Democratic voters were so in favor of this genocide just never really seemed to materialize in the real world. Like,
yeah, no, it was
pro-Palestinian.
Like, say what you want about the left, but like, there was no base of support for the Israeli genocide. Like, what did you guys think? Did they think there was right-wingers protesting in college campuses? It's like, no, you jackasses. And Kamala's like, well, we'll make sure to call the police on them for you, AIPAC, anytime you want it, big guy. Like, we'll make sure that they never protest you again. It's like, fuck you guys. Like, stand up for your fucking base. God damn.
Protests there were. We saw how many like of the most active people who would have been on the Democratic Party side in 2024 were like subjected to all types of abuse at the hands of the police for protesting on college campuses. In the myth that there was like an equal or bigger side that was just like so pro-Israel, like never saw any of those or like any of that activism really. Like there were a few protests in favor of Israel, but nothing reaching the level that we saw from college campuses. So it was really just, the Democrats trying to manufacture consent in pursuit of supporting, not just Israel, but the military industrial complex, of which Israel is like one of our main satellites.
If you guys are still here, so real quick, the State Department will respond on behalf of the email, which apparently did come from OPM. But they'll respond on behalf of their employees. Employees do not need to respond to it, according to the email that was just sent out. And again, it's like, it's so confusing to have two kings, and they just do whatever they want and make up laws and everything. Like, while we've got external threats, internal strifes, and their ultimate end goal is to like dominate every human being in this citizenry. So yeah, it's reconciling all that is quite the doozy.
Lights for like testing weapons.
Yeah, and intelligence and like, I mean.
Yeah, like Jeb, he's like, God, I don't think I ranted about that yet, but like he is crashing out. If he didn't have the money he had, he would be in a ditch somewhere, like dying or dead, or eventually getting taken to a hospital bed to recover. He's got 200,000 American lifetimes of wealth backing him, like pumping Special K into him while he tries to pump more kids into random women and reply girls. And he's beaten everything. Like, he's beaten all allegations, all charges, which to him, there weren't that many. I mean, that's more Trump, but still, like, he's beaten the world. He's won everything. He can do and say whatever he wants now. And he's not just unrestrained, he's empowered by that wealth. And to a point, again, where, like, people crash out and they just kind of, like, peter out. Like, Ethan Klein is petering out right now after his big crash out. Like, or Illuminati, that's another good example. It's like you don't have the resources to act crazy, which you do need resources to do. You eventually just don't become a problem. Even Kanye, like he lost his was it Adidas? Whoever was doing Yeezys, he lost the Yeezy deal because he went like full crazy, crashed out, and it cost him his billionaire status. But Elon, that's the thing. The only way for Elon's crash out to really like hit him and like smack him down is if Tesla stock craters. And it has to crater. Like it has to do it soon too. Because again, Elon is going to be stealing systems, reappropriating funds, and ultimately making X like the payment service for fucking Social Security, even though that's fucking insane, illegal, and unconstitutional. Like, so yeah, his crash out is billionaire fueled. It's weird too because like in many ways like the other billionaires would act or do things in a similar manner, but like Zuckerberg has his family like to keep him like centered somewhat. It doesn't keep him human because it doesn't ground him that way, but it gives him focus. Peter Thiel, like he's got his husband, and ultimately his goals are much more subtle in their end game, but it's the same deal. Gates has his kids and his ex-wife. He's still, again, a piece of shit. Buffett's so fucking old. Like, he remembers a time. Like, I'm pretty sure Buffett was... He was alive in the Depression. Like, he was a kid. Yeah, because he's almost 100. He was born around the time of the Great Depression. So he's very familiar with, like, how wealth inequality, like, what actually having nothing is like. Like, he at least has an idea on that, and then he became a big investor, like, in his 20s. I don't know. Like, Elon... yeah, no, dude, yeah. I watched the video. I think I just uploaded the video to my YouTube. Yeah, no, he was slurring. He had his sunglasses on inside because again, he had to have had bloodshot eyes. Like he's crashing out. And again, like he would be crashed out if it wasn't for $400 billion just pumping him up every fucking day. Like Tesla stock needs to crash.
It was Anthony Lowenstein's book about the Palestine laboratory, which talks about how the Israelis and by extension the United States and all these other weapons firms essentially use Gaza as a laboratory to test their most lethal weapons. And it's like, all right, these millions of people are there as lab rats for genocide.
Yeah.
So,
and I think this last genocide was them testing a lot of their AI surveillance technology that we would hear about every so often.
Lavender.
That will be used and subjected on the American people if it's not already being subjected on the American people. Not that makes it worse or better, but like certainly it's something that people need to be able to see those connections between like the things that we do in the Middle East and abroad, coming home to like be subjected against American people.
Yeah. Did you want to say something, Matt?
Yeah, I also just want to emphasize to people that Democrat Party's not going in the right direction on this stuff.
Yeah, again, like the way they talk and act, like Stephen Miller yelling about whatever the fuck he was yelling about the other day. That other jackass, the first video we watched, RFK Jr.'s rep, just saying nonsense and lies. And again, Elon just rejecting reality at any sort of like minor criticism. Like they're fascists. Like they are an ignorant of reality, oppressive of the people, group of individuals that seek to dominate and domineer the American way of life. They are antithetical to everything our nation was founded on. And they got to be stopped. Fuck them.
Key representatives that would be great in terms of speaking out against what Musk and Doge and Trump are doing, Jamal Bowman and Cory Bush, were removed in the primaries by record spending by Israel groups. And
Yeah, fuck
let's take
AIPAC.
a look at Wesley Bell in Missouri, see how dynamic this guy is, this Zionist plant, and think of just what we could have had if maybe Cory Bush was still there. And I get that there's people who want to rush to the conversation about how Cory Bush could have done better constituent service or whatever. I would rather look at the forest, and I'll leave other people to look at the trees here. But here's Wesley Bell. Let's grade this electric performance.
Oh shit!
YouGov.
God damn it!
I mean, do we have
people who are the ones?
I clicked on it by accident. I'm fucking up.
I mean, do we have more Hakeem Jeffries on Stewart or
law? How the Democrat
looking down at his phone for it.
Not quite Cory.
To abolish the need
to electric performance.
Representative Wesley Bell here. We've been getting so many calls from the office. We know people are concerned, and I want to talk about two things. One, what we have done, and two, what we need to do. And so on January 20th, Trump signed an executive order to abolish the doctrine of birthright citizenship.
I'm gonna call him on Monday and cuss him out.
Trump's birthright citizenship executive order as unconstitutional. That doesn't happen without us pushing from public outcry, but also working with our stakeholders to make certain.
Stakeholders, so that's good. I think we
All
got
right.
the point there. Not quite Cory Bush, is he?
No, not quite.
I love feeling like I'm at like
I miss
a
Cory
meeting
Bush.
at work and
I
being,
know.
Being
Right.
chastised for like not meeting profit projections for Q3.
Where's George Latimer at, by the way? Speaking of, where's George Latimer at? Where's
I
he up
mean,
to?
his eyes are pointing in different directions.
They couldn't have given Wesley a prompter. I mean, he's looking down at his phone for his notes during a front-facing video.
It literally does feel like an all-hands meeting at like the worst job you've ever had. Which
So
is, by the
we
way,
expect
how the
reports,
Democrats
guys.
how the Democrats feel. Like in part, Kamala Harris came off as a bureaucrat, and that's part of why she lost. And this is that same kind of thing.
They're talking about stakeholders. Like we have all this talk about like, ooh, don't use the word Latinx or whatever. They talk like Hakeem Jeffries was like, we need to do a new story, but this is corporate speak. This is like how you get a job just to differentiate yourself from like different Ivy League grads and places. Is you tell a nice story and you use words like stakeholders that don't offend anybody that has hiring powers. Like it's bloodless and it's. I mean, do we have more Hakeem Jeffries on Stewart, or have we exhausted that?
Oh, we have. It is amazing how they're talking, though. Like they're trying to like rally the troops with their opening line is "Attention, stakeholders and good billionaires." like what is going on? Like who do they think? And then there's the reports of them getting mad at the actual grassroots organizations who are not even like lefty organizations, like grassroots liberal and progressive organizations who are the ones who line up to back Democrats all the time when it counts. They're even like, we can't deal with what Democrats are doing right now. And the Democrats, instead of
The
trying
Dems are
to
fucking up.
work out something to appease their literal base, not even leftists, their literal base, and they get angry that they're speaking out. Like, talk about complete. Well, you got multiple occasions now where Hakeem Jeffries is like, we can't do anything. There's nothing we can do. And then
Fucking useless. Jeffries is the worst.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I got mad at an IM.
That's about Eric Adams, and he's like, "Oh, let the people in New York to handle that." It's like, what are you doing? Like, you guys, first of all, like that's just ridiculous. It was the National Democratic Party that literally elevated Eric Adams to where he is right now. He was talked about like he was the future of the Democratic Party, and right now the entire city of New York is beholden to Donald Trump because he's dangling those charges over Eric Adams' head, because everyone should realize, I'm sure you guys have talked about it already, that those charges were dropped against Eric Adams, but with the ability for them to raise them again. So basically, Eric Adams, for however long he's mayor, is going to be beholden to whatever Trump wants. He's already told his own people, his own commissioners, not to say anything against Trump, not to get involved with anything regarding ICE. It is absolute mayhem, and the Democratic Party at national level is MIA.
Yeah, Just Stunning writes in, where are the Palestinian protests for Trump's ethnic cleansing of the Gaza plan? This is what annoyed me. Actually, I'm a part of the Telegram channel in New York City for Gaza protests, so I get notifications about this. If you want to protest, look it up. There's a Bryant Park protest, I believe, this weekend. So actually, there are protests. There are protests. And I don't... We are the constituency of the Democratic Party. We're in the base of the Democratic Party. It's expected that we're supposed the party's supposed to respond to their base. Trump does whatever the base wants. We are not. They don't care about what we have to say. There's gonna still be protests, but the reason there was outrage is because Biden is a Democrat. He's supposed to be advancing a more humanist agenda based on like what people vote for compared to the Republicans. That's why there was the outrage. And I'm really sick of this, like, you know, attack on the pro-Palestine demonstrators as essentially being like ops for the Republican Party. Give me a break.
That person is a Holocaust denier, essentially. This idea that these sorts of protests aren't going on, and you're not hearing about them because the Democrats aren't the target of them. So people like that you follow, the fucking freaks that apologize for a genocide for all that time, they're not here. They're not hearing about it. But absolutely, people are still in the streets for this. But also, there's a goddamn ceasefire that Biden and Harris weren't going to be able to accomplish. So there's going to be a little bit of difference in terms of protest activity, because even though we all get it, man, and I'm sure the all the liberals that are pointing that out understand, like, yeah, it's really those people are Holocaust deniers.
But it just doesn't make any sense from even just like a complete like even like taking away like this is what's going on and these are the protests that are happening. It just doesn't make sense that you would complain that you haven't heard about it, because of course maybe you haven't heard about it, because they were doing those protests during campaign stops and campaign events during a presidential election season.
There was a protest at the Super Bowl.
Out there holding rallies right now. Then there was someone at the Super Bowl who literally
active protest at the Super Bowl.
Right. Staged the pro-Palestine, pro-Gaza protest. I mean, if you're not hearing about it, it's A, because you're not paying attention, and B, they're not being covered because these things aren't happening at campaign events, so they're outside of what mainstream media is covering. Like, and Trump's not doing rallies. Like, Trump has been MIA himself. We've been hearing more from Elon Musk than Trump. Trump hasn't left his little room at the White House or golfing wherever he's been golfing, and he's completely been really missing in action. No big rallies from Trump because it's not an election season.
Let's get to a clip and we can continue this conversation if that's okay, Brandon. We can keep talking about.
Alrighty, guys, if you're still there, I'm going to be calling it. I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Really, thank you. I'm going to re-upload these streams to the YouTube. I will say I was thinking about, okay, so like I'm kind of like streaming like knee-jerky, like given everything that's happening, just the insanity and like the content there is to review. I'm going to try to narrow stuff down a bit. One of the things I want to do is get on a streaming schedule of some kind, like somewhere between like 2 to 5 days guaranteed regular streaming a week, maybe like an alternating schedule. Sorry, Jeff, I'm doing a recap real quick. Sorry. Doing that, but then also I want to do some specialty videos soon. Again, like basic anti-capitalist stuff. Like I want to do a video like explaining to people like get off Google Chrome, like get off Google search and everything. What you can still currently buy that could potentially keep you and your family safe type deal, like stuff like that. I want to do like an outline. And then also I want to do a video like listing, I want to do like a takedown of like Republican and Democratic senators and their representatives, like House reps, like which ones are which, just give like a general like overlay of each one and like their DC phone contacts so you can call them and harass them. Because I've been calling them, but like everybody needs to be calling them, considering like this is like the ultimate assault on our nation. So again, check out the YouTube. Again, I've been uploading stuff there, and the thing about that, I've redone new intros and outros that I'm workshopping. I've also been thinking about maybe like light background music, all sorts of stuff. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions, recommendations. Send them to me on Blue Sky or something if you think of anything. But yeah, Jeb, thank you for sticking around, man. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you guys later. And again, just have a good night. Bye. If you had a good time, like and subscribe.